Here's the thing. As an entrepreneur, you were meant to pay yourself. You're meant to pay yourself big dollars. You're meant to sign your own checks. You were meant to pay yourself. You're an artist. You're a visionary. There's something about you that's meant to be a CEO. You were meant for this type of success. The problem is the way that you work is unrealistic. You would rather daydream about all of the things that you want to do and sit around all day just dreaming about it, just feeling it, just processing all of the emotions surrounding it. You spend more time doing that than actually doing the thing that you know you need to do in order to see yourself in that successful space. It's not that your dreams are unrealistic, it's that you have unrealistic expectations and understandings of the way that you flow and work. The universe will always meet you halfway. The universe will always meet you halfway, which means you need to actually get up and do the things that you say you want to do and keep your promises to yourself. And then the energy will flow back to you. But if all you're doing is just sitting around hoping that things come to you, it simply will not work like that. The issue is that you would rather avoid the tasks that you need to take. You would rather avoid the actions that you have to take. You would rather burn yourself out quickly the second you come out of a bad mood and then start piling on all of the tasks, which is great, except for motivation is not going to be reliable in your journey as an artist, as an entrepreneur. The issue is that you are more aware of the emotional side of things rather than the action side of things, because you would rather sit around all day and processing those things, which is great, except for motivation is not something that you can rely on when accomplishing your goals, because motivation is another emotion and it will come and go. Trust me, I can see that spending time in the subconscious is very familiar to you, except you would rather spend a lot of time in that disappointment when you don't see things work out in the way that you want it to work out. You would spend a lot more time feeling envious of other people around you who are actually seeing the success. You would spend a lot more time blaming rather than getting back up and clearly strategizing your next movement and what actions you actually have to take. You sit far too much in this realm. You spend far too much in this realm and not nearly enough in this one. Right now, it looks like the way that you work is in major bursts, and then you burn yourself out before you can actually find a consistency in anything. So what you need to do is actually find a balance in the masculine and feminine, and that is the way that you're going to find yourself charging forward in a way that's consistent. Because the thing is, relying too much on one or the other is not going to actually help you find the willpower and the balance needed in order to see through that goal that you actually have to the end. Spending all the time processing your lack mindset is not going to be the only thing that will help you get through. You need to be paying attention to the physical just as much as you're paying attention to the subconscious, the emotional, all of those things, because a garden can fall apart if you start giving it the time that it needs. You abandon your goals just as fast as you got started on them. I'm almost getting the sense of distraction here, and those distractions are constantly taking away from what the actual issues are. You're really finding the comfort zone is sitting in the emotional side of things and processing the inner child, but part of the issue is that maybe your inner child needs space to grow. You need to understand the way that your mind works and not just work with your flow, but also challenge yourself to see past it. As an entrepreneur, you also need to keep the promises that you set to yourself and other people, because the more that you see yourself falling through on your end of the bargain, the less you're going to be able to trust yourself. The real issue isn't trust, it's the fact that you're not following through. It's easy to give in to the temporary satisfaction of avoiding any problems that you experience. That's an easy feeling. The reality is your growth needs to be seasonal. The side of you that you want to see in life is the one that dedicated yourself in the long term to a goal, not to the short term. When you can get past this energy there, that short term, that temporary feeling, that temporary need, that temporary this, the temporary setback, those temporary feelings, when you can find a way through those energies and see yourself consistently showing up to the systems that you have set in place, that's whenever you're going to see yourself in that success. You were meant to be wealthy. And now here's the thing, if you're looking for coaching, if you're looking for a realistic reading, if you're looking for growth, you know where to book with me.